everybody, it's Allie and welcome to our Y&R chat for Sunday, July 17th. Sharon Newman, you are under arrest. It was drama, and boy, they drug her out of that barn dance like it was on fire. It was beautiful. Of course, not before they explained to everyone at the dance why she was under arrest for murder. Let me tell you, Sam was standing there, stunned. Just a blank look on his face, like, there. And poor little Piper, the little girl, is in the background just screaming, saying, it's not true, she wants Sherry, this woman that she's looked up to tell her that it's not true that she's a murderer. And Sharon is just looking around, horrified, and saying to everyone, I'm so sorry. I'm just so sorry. It was heartbreaking. But then, as the news that Sharon was still alive started trickling into Genoa City, I was like, yeah! It was just so exciting. I mean, my eyes were peeled. I was afraid to blink that I was gonna miss a single moment. I mean, they were like wide open, just waiting to see everyone's reactions, and I was sipping on everyone's reactions like it was a fine wine. It was so good. First, Phyllis and Nick get simultaneous phone calls on their cell phones, which had to interrupt their almost lovemaking on Phyllis's desk. And they both found out at exactly the same moment. It was kind of cute. They both also simultaneously dropped their phones in absolute disbelief. Nobody's expecting Sharon to still be alive. It was, first of all, it was comical, but it was also just like jaw-dropping. Adam was like at his computer, he's working away really hard on trying to recover the video evidence that's gonna, clear Sharon's name. So he's on his computer and just, you just see his face change. He just looks over at the screen and just smiles. I mean, like his prayers were answered. Sharon's this angel that just dropped back out of the sky for him. It was beautiful. And Noah had a pretty good reaction too. Because he saw this whole moment on TV, on the news while he was at the coffee house. And I thought his reaction was interesting because it was almost non-existent. I mean, Noah was, after finding out that his mother was still alive, he was like walking around in a daze. Almost like he'd just been hit by a truck, and he's just in this stunned state, and the shock started to turn to anger. His initial reaction was just to be very angry that his mother could do this to him, but it did turn back into love and understanding eventually. I mean, Noah realized that he has this second chance to make amends, and he spent so much time after Sharon died hating himself for the things that he had said to her right before she died, and here he was kind of falling into that pattern of judgment again, and he just decided to see it as an opportunity to make things right. He changed his attitude. He wants to be there for her now, and to not abandon her when she needs him most. It's like he's given the ultimate do-over and he was gonna seize it. Now, Victor and Jack were together when they found out the news, and Jack was stunned. Victor didn't blink an eye. It was, the whole time I'm thinking, you know, if I just found out that someone I thought was dead was now suddenly miraculously still alive, I would drop to my knees in tears saying, hallelujah. What can I say? I guess I'm just a different person. I don't know, but I kept, you know, the range of reactions was so interesting and so different from mine. But I enjoyed it nonetheless. I think pretty much everyone in Genoa City was just focused on getting answers. They wanted to know why Sharon would do such a thing. Why would she do this to her family? Why would she fake her own death? I mean, it's preposterous. So Sharon gets hauled back to the Genoa City Police Department, and Phyllis was actually the first person to see her, and Phyllis just took one look at Sharon, and she just knew. I mean, she knew right away. Sharon wasn't hurt. Sharon wasn't confused. Sharon was kind of just being selfish. I mean, she was in self-preservation mode, and that's what caused her to do this. I mean, that was Phyllis's interpretation, and I kind of have to agree. I mean, as much as I have enjoyed our farm fantasy, there just really is no good excuse for letting your family think you're dead. I mean, there's just no way around that. There's no justification for that. As much as I love Sharon and I've loved what we've gone through, I just can't find a justification for that. So next, Adam and Nick show up at the police station, and they pretty much burst through the doors to see Sharon. And let me tell you guys, the moment that both Nick and Adam locked eyes with Sharon, it was magical for me. it was like this powerful mix of hope and confusion and anger. And for Nick, the anger part of it started to take over him. That became his overwhelming emotion, the anger part of it. I mean, all Nick really needed to know as soon as he saw Sharon was that she had done all of this of her own volition. And he was done in that moment. That she did this on purpose was enough. That was all he needed to know. No other excuse would do. No other excuse would make any sense for him. I mean, Nick looking at Sharon, the mother of his children who he thought was dead, and he looks at her and says, how could you let us think that you were dead? And he actually said to her, just before he left, maybe we would have been better off if you were dead. That was a low blow, right? That was a low, low blow. Adam, on the other hand, is unwavering in his love for Sharon, and his face throughout all of this. I assure you, you could have muted the show. You could have put the whole show on mute and have seen everything just written on Adam's face. It was so obvious. I mean, he's looking at Sharon, and at this time when everyone is hurling these accusations at her. Adam is telling her the one thing that she needs to hear the most right now. I understand why you did it. I understand you. And this is where it gets sad. Adam's all, I know you would have contacted me eventually. I know you didn't want to do it, and I know you would have reached out to me in 6 months or a year. You were just trying to protect me. You would have contacted me eventually. Which is not true. Sharon was moving on for good. While Adam was holding on to her and her memory desperately, Sharon was letting go. Sharon was moving on. And you guys, out of nowhere, Sam walks through the doors of the police station. And he's followed her back to Genoa City. This was his grand entrance to Genoa City. And Sharon looks up at Sam. Then Adam looks over at Sam, looks down at Sharon, and again, he knows everything that he needs to know. He knew in that moment. Nobody had to say a word. He knew exactly what had gone down and that he was duped. And that moment, Adam's cold little heart just shattered into a million pieces right then and there. He said nothing to her. Again, he did not have to. It was all right in his eyes. Right in his eyes. And he just walks away. He just walks away from her. He feels betrayed by the one person who he never ever thought was going to betray him. So Adam leaves the police station and he goes to the bridge where Sharon's ashes were scattered, where he was pledging his eternal love to her last week. And as he's standing there on the bridge, I'm looking at him and I noticed that one of his fists is mysteriously clenched. And as soon as I saw that clenched fist and him standing on the bridge, I knew exactly what he was gonna do. Adam opens up his hand to reveal the memory card. Sitting right in his palm. The key to Sharon's freedom. Right in the palm of his hand. The evidence that he's been looking for months. And that she needs to save herself from a lifetime of prison. And he just turns his hand upside down. Releases the memory card. And drops it right down into the water. Damn! I mean, damn! It was unexpected. Of course, I expected Sharon to get back into town and for Adam to just welcome her with open arms, and he was going to help get her out, and then it was just going to be basically focused on the triangle between Adam and Sam and Sharon. But no, it's way worse now. It is way worse now because Sharon was the best part of Adam. She was what was good in him. And in the police station and on the bridge, I think on the bridge, that goodness, that good part of him just died. It just died right then and right there. So say goodbye to Mr. Nice Adam. There's gonna be no more Mr. Nice Adam. There's gonna be no more redeeming Adam. I mean, he had, you know, as he destroys this piece of evidence, he had again just this evil look on his face. And his new motto is, do unto others before they can do unto you. That's how he's decided he's gonna live his life now. And later in the week, I mean, he's got other problems. Later in the week, he found out that Diane is planning to throw him under the bus to the DA about the whole SEC scandal, and now he's ready to fight fire with fire. He's got no reason to be good, no reason to be nice to anybody, and I feel sorry for Diane, because really, I mean, the only question in that scenario is who's going to come out on top? Who's going to survive? And we probably know it's not going to be Diane. I mean, it's either, you know, is Diane going to be able to implicate Adam, or is Adam going to be successful in just getting out some revenge on Diane? Back at the police station, Victor shows up. And he's there, standing right beside Sam. They're both clearly there to, you know, support Sharon and to get some answers. Everybody wants answers. So the second that Sharon gets hauled away to her cell, Victor and Sam have a little moment together. Victor takes one look at Sam and says to him something like, all right, what are you after? Like, what are you here for? The implication was Sam's there to collect, you know, like he's gonna use this opportunity to line his pockets. That's how Victor's mind works, apparently. And Sam just stands right up to Victor and says, look, man, I don't want your money. I don't need your money. I don't care who she is, who she knows. I don't care who you are. For that matter, I fell in love with Sharon, and that's the only reason that I'm here right now. Which I was proud of Sam for. I was happy that he stood up to Victor. I mean, that's a good way to start out, you know, standing up to the big man. So, Sam finally has his moment to talk with Sharon, you know, to get his answers. They go back into the private visitor's room, and they're talking, and just clearly, both Sharon and Sam at this point are confused and exhausted, and just, I think they're both just emotionally wrecked, you know, and Sharon tries her best to explain the situation, you know, explain her side of the story to Sam, and I mean, and he knows that she didn't commit this crime, and she knows that, and she, you know, and she, you know, told him, you know, I told you not to get close to me. She's trying to explain the whole thing, and Sam wants to support her. He's looking for any sign that she is interested in him or wants to, you know, needs his help or needs him in any way, but Sharon just flat out tells him to leave Genoa City. Go back to your own life. I mean, it's for your own good. She doesn't want to be responsible for ruining his life. I mean, any further than she already has. And Sam almost goes. He is pretty much on his way. He's ready to walk out the door when Victor catches him and asks him to stay. Of course, Victor feeds Sam this line about, you know, you're a good man and Sharon needs your support right now. When really, we all know that Victor just wants to keep Adam away from Sharon by keeping Sam around and encouraging that entire relationship. And you know that Victor is going to be twisting that knife in Adam's heart every chance he gets. He's hoping to rub that whole relationship in Adam's face. Yeah, you know, I am glad that Sam is going to be sticking around. I really am. I feel like Sam has got a really great sensibility. He's got this like down-to-earth vibe that I totally enjoy. I am definitely excited to see how Sam is going to, you know, fall into the fold. But not with Sharon. want to see him with Sharon. I feel like being the man in between Adam and Sharon, you know, the one that's kind of standing in between Adam and Sharon, is just going to make Sam look like a fool. And I don't want that for him. So, we need to find somebody in Genoa City who's available for Sam, who's emotionally available, who's not involved with anyone right now. So we need to find the perfect woman for him. We need to find somebody who is ready for a relationship and who needs a good stiff ride on that Bronco, okay? Let's find somebody for Sam. So that's not Sharon's. So you tell me, what do you think, you guys? Any suggestions? Chloe dragged Billy into court this week for yet another custody case. I'm going to preface my opinion on this by saying that I realize that people are going to fall staunchly into either one side or the other of this argument. It's going to be a very divisive issue, and I'm not expecting everyone to agree with me. I'm going to give you my perspective on this, and it's based on my own experiences, and you have a different set of experiences. You're looking at it from a different angle. You're probably going to, you might see things completely differently than me. But for me, I just don't believe that people should have their children ripped away from them willy-nilly. I don't think it's right. And I don't want to tell you guys more than y'all want to know about me. But I will tell you that my father was 10 times worse than what Billy is. What he really ever could be. It's the truth. By the time that I was Delia's age, I had seen things that I don't think a kid should ever see. But did my mother try to keep me away from my dad? Never. Never. Because even though my dad was messed up, he still loved me, and he still wanted to be with me. He still wanted to be my father. And if some random judge could have taken me away from my parents, they probably would have had grounds to. But I don't think, as an adult now, that I would have been any better off. In fact, I think that I would have resented it big time. If a child is really truly in danger, then yes, of course, help the child. Of course. But don't try to take people's kids away from them because they're not perfect. You know, because they're having a hard time, because they're going through a rough patch. People change. People grow. And people learn. My parents did. People have the right to raise their kids if they can and they want to. And the truth is, Billy disappoints me right now, too. But I really don't care if he gambles away every last penny that he has. That doesn't stop him from being Delia's father. So Billy tried to pull himself together this week for this court hearing, and Victoria even stopped by to give him a bit of a pep talk, and she reminded him that he is a good father. He's the kind of father that isn't going to just tear the mother down just because he isn't getting his way. Chloe's lawyer ripped into Billy pretty typically. It was pretty typical, you know, for a lawyer. It was, I mean, whatever. But when it came time for Rafe to get in there and counter, Billy told Rafe to pull the punches, to not go after her, to not try to destroy her character. Now, I think that Billy knows deep down that he's not fit right now. He's not in a place to, you know, to have Delia live with him full time, which she doesn't anyway. But I also think that Billy knows that he will bounce back, plans to bounce back, and that no court ruling is going to stop Chloe from being Delia's mother. So there's no point in trying to destroy that relationship. He's still going to have to deal with Chloe after the court case is over, so there's no point in poking that bear. Which, by the way, as messed up as Billy is right now, that's a viewpoint that I wish Chloe had. I can't even believe it's come to this. Right as things are looking real hopeless for Billy, Victoria shows up to testify on his behalf, and she tells the judge that despite all of their problems, she wants the court to know that Billy is a great dad, and he is a great dad. When he's with those kids, it's like, I mean, it's touching. He's great with the kids. And Victoria's testimony actually did look like it was going to turn things around. Victoria goes home and she starts to think about her life, her life together with this man, and the road that they've traveled, and how much they've fought to be together despite all of the odds. And there was this spectacular montage of scenes from their relationship. I mean, everything from how, you know, how she helped him up on that New Year's Day up out of the gutter, and you know, the tense courting and how torn they were about courting, and then getting married on the beach in Jamaica, and you know, and starting their family, and taking, you know, what was a really messed up courting and turning it into this ideal family. She starts to remember all of this, and of course I'm thinking, come on! These two belong together. They balance each other out so perfectly. And Victoria realizes it too. She realizes that she still loves Billy. She still wants to be with him. And she rushes out to go reconnect with him. She goes to his trailer. But Billy is not there. Billy is at a bar. Now, you tell me if you've heard this one before. A beautiful blonde sits down next to Billy at the bar and begins to throw herself at him. Billy, not interested, says no, and she begs him to then just give her a ride home. Just give her a ride home. Oh yeah, basically this happened like 3 weeks ago. That's why it sounds familiar. This whole thing happened like 3 weeks ago. The difference here is this woman turns out to be, how shall I put this, a lady of the evening. A call girl. For a few bucks, she'll help make Billy's problems disappear. Oh, it's terrible. But Billy's not interested. He does not need that. throws down a $100 bill onto the bar, and just tells her to get a cab. Just get a cab. Get out. Get out. Just whatever. I don't want to have anything to do with you. Next thing you know, he's being arrested for solicitation of a prostitute. I was like, what? Huh? Where did that come from? I mean, yeah, because there's like so much hooking going on at Glowworm that the police had to set up a sting operation. The next day, it's time for the judge's ruling, and Billy's still in jail. Billy's still sitting in a jail cell. Rafe manages to get him out. Billy rushes to the courtroom just in time to see the judge find out that he was arrested last night for solicitation, and just in time to find out that sole custody was awarded to Chloe with only supervised visits for Billy. Okay. Once again, you guys are gonna have to forgive my crazy thinking here, but since when does getting arrested for a crime equal getting convicted for a crime? I know I'm crazy, but hey, judge, have you ever heard of innocent until proven guilty? Nah, of course not. I mean, you're only a judge. I'm so annoyed. And everyone is devastated. Chloe and Jill are there in the courtroom, and they're disgusted by the thought of Billy trying to get a prostitute on the night before hearing the results of his daughter's custody case, and rightfully so. I mean, I might add, if Billy had actually done that, yes, it's disgusting. But I know you guys are gonna be mad at me over this, but I'm mad at Chloe about this. I feel like, what harm was Billy doing to Delia? What was the problem? Was he asking to take her out of the country? Was he trying to be involved in some major decision in her life that Chloe disagreed with? No. No to either of these things. And now Chloe's just acting like this prison guard, gatekeeper. Billy stopped by the Chancellor Mansion to see his daughter, begging to see his daughter, and Chloe won't listen to a word that he's saying. She won't let him explain anything about the solicitation charge. She's refusing to let him get anywhere near Delia, even though he's clearly sober and clearly sorry. And now he's lost everything, you know, and he has this charge hanging over his head and just making everybody in his life think he's a disgusting piece of scum. And Victoria finds out about this prostitution thing, and she's crushed to hear this news. And of course, Victor got to be the one to tell her that Billy was arrested for trying to hire a prostitute, and Victor was being surprisingly sensitive. He actually said to Victoria, well, you know, maybe you should just, you know, wait until you make any judgments on Billy. Just wait until you hear his side of the story. And I should have known right then and there that something was up. Because on our favorite bridge, the bridge somewhere in Genoa City, the high-class blonde hooker shows up. She appears out of nowhere, meeting with a mystery person to collect her reward for getting Billy Abbott arrested. And as the hand reaches out to give her her cash for a job well done, the camera pans out and we see Victor. It was good. It was good. It was a twist I wasn't expecting, but I'm just so annoyed now that he would do that. I mean, Victor, this is a man who had his daughter arrested on her wedding day and then framed his son-in-law for solicitation of a prostitute. And Billy is the one having his kid taken away? Okay, how about some lighter topics? I feel like I've been grimacing for this entire time. I mean, it's been serious topics, and so I'm ready to talk about something a little lighter. The premiere of Jabot's new cosmetics line kicked off this week with a huge press party at Fenmore's. It's called the Red Carpet Collection. I thought maybe they would have gone with something a little more relevant to the cactus juice thing, but who cares? I don't care. I'm loving it. It was fun. Everybody was dressed to the nines in their best outfits, and they are sipping champagne and celebrating the launch of this, this new part of Jabot's history. And Lauren and Jill and Jack are standing up at the podium, and they're being the very proud executives, and we've got Michael and Catherine and Sophia and Abby all hanging out in the crowd, just at the party, mingling, and everything is going splendidly until Ashley walks in on Tucker's arm. Tucker, freshly released from the hospital. He's there. He's at this party, and he is clearly totally anxious for Ashley to take over McCall Unlimited, including Jabot. He wants her, her to rule over the whole roost while he gets his, mind back together, while he gets his druthers back. And Tucker has made absolutely no bones about the fact that he wants Jack out of Jabot. That was a decision that Catherine made without his knowledge, and he wants Jack out. He doesn't want him involved at all. And I can tell you guys, the second Tucker stepped through the crowd, there was a shot of Jack's face, and I kid you not, it went exactly like this. Gulp! 3 weeks later, we're finally back to the Winters household. It was so weird. The secret about Sophia's baby's paternity blew up like a bomb, and then there was nothing about it for weeks. We didn't hear a word. So Sophia is busy working on getting her paternity results, but it's not exactly easy to get paternity results while the child is still in utero. So we've still got some time before we are going to be able to confirm what we already know, what we all already know, that the child is Neil's, clearly. But finally this week, Malcolm and Sophia and Neil were forced into a room together, and we got to enjoy the dynamics. It was an awkward family birthday party for Lily. And the tension was so thick. You could cut it with a knife. I skipped the birthday cake and just serve that for dessert. It was intense. And it was so obvious. Lily and Devon are standing around like, you guys, what's going on? Clearly something is up here. And to my surprise, they just straight up tell Lily and Devon everything that happened, that Neil had an affair with Sophia, and that the child might be his. They don't know who the child's father is. And Daniel's hanging around in the background like, this is maybe a little bit of TMI. Too much information for me. But it was very awkward and very, very pleasing to me. You could tell that Neil and Sophia wanted to dance around the entire topic, but Malcolm was like, hey, let's get it out. Let's get it out there. Why not? Why not tell Lily the absolute truth? I mean, he's the one that was betrayed, so hey, why not tell Lily about what her quote-unquote father did to her? That was his perspective anyway. And I mean, everybody was completely shocked. It was definitely a huge purple elephant in the room, and Sophia tried to come out of it not looking and feeling like a total whore, which I don't think she is, by the way. But I just got the impression that that's how she felt, and she made it clear though to everyone that she still wants to be with Malcolm. She still loves Malcolm, but Malcolm can barely stand to look at her. I mean, he doesn't want to be in the same room with her, much less, be back together with her. Neil, on the other hand, being super sensitive, being real nice to her when no one else is. Yeah, I don't know. And speaking of incidents that that were never really talked about, Lily and Daniel, neither of them really acknowledged the kiss that they had last week. I was a little surprised. I was expecting something to happen on that. I mean, they both just seemed to be moving along like nothing happened. I mean, they clearly both still want to be around each other. They're still friends. They still enjoy each other's company. But even though we didn't see Kane this week, Kane was still totally there in spirit. Kane left a birthday gift on Lily's doorstep, which Daniel tried to hide. He tried to grab it before Lily could see it, but Lily caught him, and she gave him just enough time to hide the card, but she still opened the gift, thinking that it was from Daniel, and lo and behold, it was a bottle of French perfume that she knew immediately was from Kane. I mean, she's opened it in front of everybody. Daniel's like, yeah, that was a gift for me. But clearly it was from Kane. I mean, Daniel has a lot of awesome qualities, and he's a really good guy, but a connoisseur of French perfume, he is not. Well, okay, you guys, that does it for me for this week. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you leave me a comment. Let me know what you're thinking on all of these crazy storylines. I always love hearing from you guys. And if you haven't had a chance to go and listen to the podcast part of this, it's like a totally different experience. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch the video part, and sometimes I'll just listen to the podcast. It's really different. And it's actually nice. It's mobile. You know, you can download it, put it on your iPod, especially since I've been doing the longer version. So if that's something that interests you, go to my website at yrchatblog.blogspot.com, and you can see the audio version there. Or you can just go to iTunes and type in, Young and the Restless, and you'll see me on there, Young and the Restless podcast. You'll see my face. But I think it's interesting. I mean, it's a totally different experience. It would be as if I was, if you were watching YNR without the visual aspect. It's just different. You get a different, you get a different vibe from it. So if you're interested in that, go check that out. But either way, do leave me a comment. I really, really am looking forward to hearing from you guys. I hope that you're having a really good week, and I'm looking forward to next week, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you guys about the show. So everybody take care. I love you so much, and we'll talk again soon. Okay. Bye.